I usually get like 2 or 3 because of the different email addresses that I've used to purchase stacks and whatever, and I didn't get a single one.
Huh.
Yeah. Check my spam, checked everything. I don't know. Must be that workman filter I put on.
Your emails always end up in my junk box, Joe.
Oh, really?
Damn. I don't know why. I've told it a zillion times that they're not junk, but it doesn't believe me.
Someone has like some really bad feedback. Oh, hold on. That's me. I had the live stream going in the background. I was like, how come I'm hearing everybody 2 seconds later? What the heck's going on? That was weird.
That's awesome.
I was like, how come I'm hearing everybody 2 seconds later? What the heck's going on?
Up now.
Are you getting feedback from me still?
Yes.
Just a little bit of mic noise. It seems a little bit better than it was before, but.
Well, I'm working on a PC. That's the problem.
Ah. Well, that's your problem. That's for sure.
There'll be a couple more days before I got my Mac back.
Ah.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, how's it going? Okay. Oh, we are going live. So cool. Everyone here, maybe I should go post this the live stream URL. Hey, Dr. Bob, what I can do is just unmute yourself when you want to speak. That's cool. And then, yeah, that way the sound isn't going on. Just some mic feedback, it sounds like. Let me get to that YouTube and just post it in the comments, because there's always people that are watching the YouTube stream and then they're like, what's the Zoom URL? How's everyone doing today? Anything interesting going on?
No.
Not really.
Taxes.
Oh boy. Oh, don't remind me. I need to do those. Oh my goodness.
My wife cut my hair. Is that interesting?
Hey, that's a valuable commodity nowadays, you know?
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
Oh yeah.
I can't
just get some clippers sure. And just buzz it off. You know?
Yeah. No, definitely not.
Okay, cool. All right, that's all posted. Hey, we're good. I really had like no agenda for today. That's why I was just like, you know what? I'll just do a live, a hangout, meet some new users, answer some of your questions. So yeah, I guess here, what I've been working on lately. I have a few updates to the add-on pack that I haven't shipped yet, that I did yesterday actually. And I can kind of explain those. It's definitely it has to do with transitions and some animation stuff. And I definitely improved some of the settings. So I figured I can show you some of those. There's also a new perspective swatch, which could be useful in certain situations. And for some reason, my Mac does not want to open up my project. What's going on here?
Joe, can I ask a very quick question?
Sure.
I was going to post yesterday, but then I finally decided not to. I was using the email stack.
Uh-huh.
And then you mentioned that you should only use the stacks that come with the email package. Okay. And I actually wanted to put a link to a video, and ideally I would have liked to place a light box there. But maybe a light box.
You can't do light boxes inside email. Nope.
Okay, that was my question. I thought that would. So, but you provide an HTML option, So
Yes, I do.
Theoretically, you could do a lightbox with HTML, but it wouldn't
No,
work.
no, you can't, because lightboxes require JavaScript, and you cannot have JavaScript inside email.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. That was
problem.
it was important, but okay. Thanks.
Hey, Joe,
Yeah.
along the same lines, I was the guy that had trouble with putting the email stack inside of partials. Did that get resolved? Do you remember that issue?
I don't remember that issue.
I took a working email stack and shoved it down as a footer. It worked fine as the footer, and then I made the footer a partial, and it suddenly didn't want to work anymore.
Right, the fix for that is don't use a partial.
Okay, that's the only reason I'm here. I'm going to quit now.
I mean, to be honest, emails are, they're made for like one-time document use, right? So it's not horrible. I know probably for like reusability, I could see that as being beneficial, so that you have that partial and you can just add it to the email. But essentially, you can still have a partial saved in your project, and then when you add it to the page, just unpack it. You understand what I mean? So, and a template is good for that as well. So if you can create a you can create a template out of that.
Okay.
I'm not really sure why that is, but I mean, for this particular use case in emails, partials aren't necessarily really needed. So yeah, I would recommend just add the partial to the page, unpack it, and you're good to go. So yeah. Sweet. And RapidWeaver is not, this is really weird. Like RapidWeaver launches, but it doesn't want to open a file. This happened to me yesterday with, very odd. One second, guys. Sorry. That.
Joe, I have a video wall question.
Sure.
On my iPhone, when I open one of the videos and it plays beautifully. And then when I go to close the lightbox, it's almost as though it's in a second lightbox, which I have to close. And I've not seen that on desktop. Can I show you?
Sure, please.
It's probably something stupid that I'm doing, but here goes. Can you see the iPhone?
Nope.
Oh, let me try that again. Sorry. Okay. Does that show?
I'm not seeing anything. Does anyone else see it?
No,
All right,
No.
I'm just going to show my desktop. Okay. You see it now?
Yeah.
I see. Yes, there we go.
Okay. So I'm just going to play this video. And that's fine. It plays. We don't have to listen to it.
Okay.
And then
I know
when I
exactly what's
close
going on.
this,
So, what's going on is the video is opening. So Apple is taking the video out and playing it externally. So, yes, the iPhone is sort of creating a second. It's not really a light box, but yes. I'm not sure there's much I could do about that, unfortunately, because Apple just does that. They're trying to help the user by displaying it the video in full screen mode for you. So,
I can just put it into an HTML5 video stack and just not use on mobile. I just won't use video wall. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
That could work.
Thank
Sorry
you.
about that.
No, thank you.
Any other? Oh, finally, Rapweaver launched. Okay, cool. There we go. That was very weird. All right, I'll share my screen. Let's show you what's going on here. Hey, everyone see my desktop?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So one thing I also did, I've been playing around. What it currently isn't set in stone. But if anyone's used the add-on pack, hope you probably noticed that all the swatches that are a part of the pack. Before I had like square bracket pack in the name, so that you knew what was a part of the pack and what wasn't. But to me, that was just it was very it cluttered up this, and I thought it made this list difficult to read. But I did think it was still important to kind of delineate stacks that came as a part of the add-on pack versus like this aspect ratio one is a part of the add-on pack. This background is part of the default foundation, right? So I was playing with different characters. I don't know. I kind of think this one's okay. It definitely makes the one stand out, but it still makes the list pretty readable. I don't know. What do you guys just initial feedback on this? Again, it's not set in stone. I haven't shipped it yet, but what do you think?
Looks good to me.
Looks good to you? Okay, cool. Let me turn off Do Not Disturb really quick. Okay. So yeah. Okay, next thing. There was a issue that someone had some problems, and I get this is pretty edge case stuff, but he was animating a transform, basically transitioning a transform, and using the swatches. And he was going from one transform to the other. And essentially, the perspective before is 1,000. I'll teach you guys what perspective is in a minute. There's a new perspective swatch as well. Before, the default perspective was set to 1,000. And with certain types of animations, that kind of breaks things. If you don't necessarily need a perspective, perspectives are for 3-dimensional animations. So stuff that kind of like flips or something that's 3-dimensional, and it could potentially mess up some 2-dimensional things, animations. So the default now is 0 on perspective, and 0 will negate that thing. There's also a new thing for style. You can have preserve 3D. So if this is getting into very, very niche CSS animation stuff, but it's either flat or preserve. So you can do some interesting stuff with that. Maybe we can dive into that into a more advanced animation live stream one day. But the next one is a new perspective swatch. And I added this 3-dimensional cube here to kind of give us an example of what perspective is. So let me set the origin to 0, 0. Okay. And I'll set that to 0. Okay. So by default, actually, the code for this cube, which is irrelevant, it's only for this. It's only so we can visualize what a perspective is. Think of a perspective as there's actually 6 squares here, okay, and they're all positioned and rotated to create a cube. Okay. Now, when I set my perspective to 0, that means I am right in front of it. Essentially, it basically says I'm right on top of this thing. Okay. And my origin is 0, 0, meaning I'm right in the middle. So essentially, even though it's basically, if you look at a box dead on straight, it looks like a square. It doesn't look like a 3-dimensional object.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So with perspective now, we can say, basically think of your face on the screen, right? How many pixels away from the screen will you be? And essentially, as you, even in real life, as you move further from something, the way that shape differentiates could change, right? So, for example, if I put this at 500, okay, we'll see that as I stand further away, I can start to see the other sides of this particular thing. Okay, so I'm standing further away. Okay, and we can also change the origin, right? So right before I was standing right here at the middle. Okay, but now I can kind of move to what perspective I'm going to be. So let's do like, I don't know, 120. So now that means I'm standing over on the right. I'm to the right of this by 120 pixels, and then I can go, I don't know, let's do like -90. Right, which means I go up 90. So now we can kind of see, we can really see, I'm kind of like up to the right and in the top, right? So you see, perspective is a very interesting thing, especially if you're doing some three-dimensional stuff. And maybe I could do some actually this cube, you could probably create this. It might be fun if we have nothing else to chat about today, to create this cube using swatches. Could be interesting. It was something I thought would be fun to do as a template just for fun. So yeah, that's what perspective is. I thought it would be fun to kind of teach you what that is. And you can animate a perspective. So like if I had a cube, and then I change my perspective from one to the other on hover, you can make it so it look like you're like moving around this three-dimensional object, which could be pretty cool. So that's what perspective is. So whenever I do ship this, it's definitely not something you're going to use all the time, but it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Yeah.
So, let's see. What else have I been working on? I think the state of the demo site is, the homepage is pretty good. I'm really happy with it. I haven't done any of the SEO work yet. I have started working on the demos. I actually think I have the current version published online. Let's open up Safari. You go to foundationstacks.com /new, I think it is. Yeah. If you go to foundationstacks.com/new, you can see it. And it should be, I haven't done the testimonials. If you haven't sent in a testimonial yet, I'd love to have one. If you have, thank you very much. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I need to create some sort of footer, and I'll probably do like a list of additional features or something like that. But
sorry,
the bulk
how
of
do
this
you do a
page,
testimonial?
I'm pretty happy with it. I'm sorry, say it again.
How do you do a testimonial?
Oh, just it just either post it on the community or shoot me an email.
Okay.
And yeah, a really short one doesn't need to be super long. I just want to keep, or if you send me a long one, maybe I can, pick out pieces and quote you there.
Sure one
cool.
is nice.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you. But anyway, so I was last week I did a little demo on how all this works, and it's very responsive. I think I'm really happy with how it worked on edit in mobile and tablet, and how the site responds and stuff like that. So if you haven't watched, I think it was the past 3 weeks, actually, I've been working on this site. Last week I did one on mobile first, and how I basically customized, these layouts, and how I built it for mobile first, and then I enhanced the layout further for desktop and tablet. One other thing I need to do, maybe next week I'll do this in the live stream, is I'm going to take all these images. Right now they're just like really high res PNGs, and I'm going to basically convert them all to creating mobile size. And also, now that Safari supports Webp, the latest versions of Safari, so that makes all major browsers now support Webp, which is a very good image format for the web, because it's it's kind of like JPEGs, where it's more compressed, but it supports transparent backgrounds, which is pretty cool. So these normally PNGs are like major, like really big. Like these images are very large. So I'm going to convert these to Webp format so that I can shrink it down. And then I'll show how we can define a fallback for someone that maybe is using the last version of Safari, because only the latest version, I think it's Safari 14, right, is what we're at. What are we at right now? Yeah, 14. So anything before Safari 14 won't be able to support Webp. So, defining a fallback PNG image at least for older, browsers, so that this still looks good. So maybe we'll do that next week. I'll play around with a couple tools, and see how we can optimize all these.
Sorry, I'm seeing your testimonials, how it moves.
Yes.
How do you do this?
That is one of my stacks called Horizon.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can scroll, so you can freely scroll it, or and then once you get off, it could just keep going, and it just bounces back and forth.
Okay, because I'm getting a lot of testimonials, and that looks kind of nice to place them like this. So
Cool.
That's a good idea. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. Yeah, and then so in Horizon, all these little cards are Foundation 6 cards that are just inside Horizon. Horizon actually in this doesn't really do any sort of design work. Horizon is just used to do this horizontal scrolling. The design of the cards is all F6 Foundation 6 cards.
Yeah, it did look Foundation 6.
Yeah.
Joe, what programs save WebP images?
So the one I'm probably going to be using is so there's a couple. A Squish app from it's actually from Google. So that is one. Now it's web based though. Okay. Then there is, hold on. So you guys don't have this. I don't even know if I should show this. I don't know. Whatever.
Whoa.
I don't know. I think pictures were leaked of this on Twitter. If not, I apologize, Dan. There is a new version of Squash from Real Mac coming out, and it has the ability to do WebP as well. Right. So it'll do WebP as well.
Photoshop does it?
I do not know. I'm not a Photoshop user, so I do not know. Another one that I use. I hate when there's apps that like have a funky name and you don't use them all the time, but then you're like, what's the name of that app? Like if I see the icon, I can remember it. Hold on one second. You know what? I know it's Fresh Meat.
Image shrinker.
Is it? Oh, it's Fresh Meat, right? Who makes Acorn? Flying Meat. Flying Meat. My bad. Acorn does WebP as well. If you're an Acorn user, I don't really use Acorn much anymore. Retro Batch. There you go, man. Retro Batch is a cool app, but I'm pretty sure it does. It's like a web automation thing. Web.
And image shrinker.
Image shrinker. Image shrinker does not do WebP. I don't believe. I think image shrinker. I only use image shrinker for certain JPEGs. Yeah, that does SVGs, JPEGs, and PNGs. This image shrinker is a compression app, so it doesn't change the format of the file. It just compresses the existing files that you already have. So if I say write to this folder, yeah. So yeah, Retro Batch does WebP as well. I have a really cool on one of my live streams a long time ago. I created a Retro Batch automation that I think is on. It should be available for download on the Foundation pages. Hold on, let's see if I have it. If I have it here. Yeah, Picture Batch. There we go. Here we go. So this, what this does is it will read an individual file, okay, and then it creates 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different versions of the image. It basically resizes it to various sizes and then writes the files out, right? So it's kind of an image automation tool, which is it's pretty cool. It's a little pricey, I think, but I think it's totally worth it. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff too. I've only really used it for, you know, stuff like this, where I create an automation where I can have one image and then it creates, you know, based on sizes, mobile, desktop, you know, versions of everything. So there we go. So yeah, retro batch is kind of cool.
Thank you, Joe.
But I mean, I think the Webp, Google created Webp. Here, let's just play with this really quick. Actually, let's use one of those PNGs that were actually on that web page. Where are they? They're in my downloads. They're in my downloads. Okay, so let's like put that in there. Okay, so this image is 1.5 megabytes pretty much. Okay, and we want to go to Webp. And what's kind of cool is it has this slider thing, so you can kind of see before and after. Oops, there's one thing I hate about browser tools, like the whole select process. Stop selecting. How do I get rid of that? I don't even know how I did that by accident. Oh, I'm gonna just refresh. All right, let's do that again. All right, so this image was 1.5 meg, okay? And right, the default is going to be Moz JPEG, okay? But we want to do WebP, okay? And it's thinking. And there we go. As you see, WebP has, you know, transparent backgrounds. And if you, okay, well, interesting. That's kind of annoying, but you know, you can have this slider and it will slide. And if you notice that it went from 1.5 megabytes to 118 kilobytes, and the image quality is pretty good. Yeah, and it has transparent backgrounds. So, and then at that point, once you're done and you're happy with this image, you could just download it, and there you go. And if you have Big Sur, you can actually get thumbnail previews of WebP. I'm not sure if it's in Catalina or if they updated to Catalina to view that, but when I updated to Big Sur, it supports it. So not sure if you're in Catalina, let me know. I'd be interested to know. But Big Sur will show a thumbnail now for WebP images. Older versions of macOS, to my knowledge, won't. It'll just look like an unknown file type. Jeff, I muted you. There was a little static coming from your line, so I muted you. Cool. Any questions on that?
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
On Catalina, I can see thumbnails on WebP.
Okay, cool. Excellent.
Though I have to open them up in a browser, but besides that, I just want to let you know.
Okay, cool. No, I appreciate that. Thank you. So yeah, so WebP is the new format. You know, that all the cool kids are going to be using. So if you want to be a cool kid too, there we go. And if you're curious, so here we'll just while we're working on this, right? So we have a picture stack, okay? And here you could define the default image, okay? And so like let's say, you know, the default will be this PNG image, okay? There we go. And then what I could do is I can add in a different source. So here's my default image, but I can add alternate versions. So, oh, interesting. I wonder if can we add WebP in here now? Oh, interesting. It supports it now. Like older versions of RapidWeaver, like when WebP was really bleeding edge, you couldn't drag and drop a WebP image in. Very interesting. Actually, I want to test something. I'm going to put a different image. Let's put this one. I want to see which image displays. Aha, cool. That's actually really cool. Hold on. I thought we had to warehouse to get WebP support before. Oh, we do. Oh, wait, no. Oh, we do. Okay. So don't, if you're going to be doing WebP, don't use drag and drop because if you notice, Stacks converted it to a PNG. Let's just verify I added, the WebP in there. Preview that again. Yes. You're going to want to, okay, so if you want to use WebP images, you can't use drag and drop. Okay. I will file a bug with Isaiah on that. I'm not sure what he can do or if that's fixable. But for now, you're going to have to go to Source Warehouse. And that's a pain in the butt because here, let me just warehouse this really quick. Let me throw this on my desktop so I can rename it a little nicer. All right, so we'll upload this to my sandbox. Let's upload that there. And we'll just call it live.webp. Right click, copy URL, over here, set link, paste, HTTPS. Yes. Type WebP. There we go. So now, there we go. Now I'm getting the WebP version of the image. Okay. So, here, if you notice, I know I'm getting the WebP version, even if I didn't work, even if I didn't look at the source code. It's because if you notice, I put a different default image, right? So because it supports WebP, it will use the WebP version of the image. So essentially, for all those images on this homepage, I'm gonna have to go through and create WebP versions, and it's possible, you could have, I could have a WebP version for medium. I can have a WebP version for desktop for large images. So, I'll see what the size differences are. But if this one's 118 kilobytes, I'll probably just use the same WebP for everything. Unless I really, really, really wanted to, shrink that down and really make the effort to do a smaller version, which could be even smaller than 118 kilobytes just for mobile. Then at that point, you could find different WebP versions or images for, mobile, medium, and large devices. And if you really wanted to go the extra mile, you can define it a non-retina and a retina image. I think that's going a little far because most devices nowadays are retina, at least tablet and mobile. Okay, but and then desktop, you can argue that there are a lot of desktop users that don't have retina displays, but there's also most desktop users are probably going to be on a broadband connection where, a couple kilobytes here or there, 20, 30 kilobytes they're not going to notice. So, yes, if you really, really wanted to be optimal, you could have 10 different versions of an image and display 10 different versions based on the device that are users on. But you have to kind of do a cost benefit on how much work that's going to be, right? Does that make sense?
No. Is there a way to add WebP images to Total CMS, to the actual Total CMS version?
The current version, no. Unless you used a depot or file. I added WebP support into depot.
Thank you very much for adding this file selection.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thank you. That's great.
So yeah, I added WebP and support into depot and file, but WebP won't be supported in galleries. It's definitely something I'll look for in version 2 because that requires the entire image processing library in the back end would need to be overhauled. So
the picture stack or the pictures, not the gallery.
Oh, like even the individual image? Yeah. Oh, that uses the same processing back end as the images. So, yeah.
Because the image scan is supporting this PNG.
Yes. Yeah. In version 2, it supports PNGs as well. The gallery, everything will support PNG because right now, like even galleries only support JPEG. So we'll have PNG support.
Great. Thanks.
No problem. Okay. Cool. Any other questions? Anyone working on anything cool they want to share?
Yeah, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Come on. Are you able to add or apply perspective to those images, or is that?
Like tilting the image?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, that's possible. Here, let's and you got to think though, an image is a two-dimensional thing. So like you can have it kind of tilted, but like it'll, it's not going to necessarily make the image look three-dimensional, if you know what I mean, right?
Right. It'll just
play around with it. So here,
it's not dynamic. It won't get smaller on the backside of the image.
No. So here, we'll play around with it. So let's do this transform. For that, we want to rotate, let's say 45 degrees. Okay. I thought that was what we want. Or do we want the Z? We rotate on Z? No, we don't want to rotate on Z. Okay. Oops. I'll just give this live rotate.
And while you're doing that,
let me swap out this picture. I don't think this picture is going to look great rotated because it's already kind of rotated. So let's just choose a different picture. Here, I'll just use this picture here. Okay. So here we go. We want to live rotate that. And then basically on the perspective, we actually apply that to the parent. So you don't apply it to the same element. You have to apply a perspective to a parent. So let's go ahead and say my perp, whatever. Okay. Let's see, will that work? Whoa. Well, okay.
45.
That's perfect. That was perfect, Joe.
So there you go. I mean, that's pretty drastic, right? But it does distort it. Maybe we do less. Maybe 45 is too much. But if we did like 10, So as you see, it does rotate it, and it kind of makes it semi three-dimensional. But because you're just rotating a two-dimensional object, it still does look flat, right?
Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah. But you can do some cool stuff like watch this. So, okay, we'll do on hover. We want to do. Let's do even less. Let's just do like 5%, and then. Normally, we're just going to do 0. Okay. And then we're going to add a transition swatch and transition live rotate. Okay. I know I'm only changing the transform, so I'm going to animate just the transform. And we'll make it like 500 milliseconds. There we go. So on hover, you see, I did that all with swatches. Pretty cool. And here, let's play around with this. So like here, I'll change my perspective. If we go closer to this, let's do like 200 pixels. Okay. As you see how the animation changes? I mean, think about it in real life. If you rotate something 10 degrees or 5 degrees and you're close to it, that 5 degrees looks more, right? Okay. So it's more exaggerated. Okay. But if I set this perspective to be here 2000, you see it's much more subtle. Because if I'm far away from something and it opens 5 degrees, 5 degrees doesn't look like much from far away. Does that make sense? So,
Right.
so
And
yeah, there we
also,
go.
Perspective isn't changing the size of the image either.
No, it does not.
Right.
Now you could also, if we did like if we skewed it maybe a little bit, I don't know. Let's do a little bit. No, that's not what we want. I need to make these rotation factors have a decimal. Ooh, let me make a note of that. 1 second. Transform rotation decimal support. Okay, there we go.
Hey,
Might have
Joe,
to
while we're on,
yes.
I'm sorry, while we're on pictures, could you please tell me, and this may be something everybody already knows, but you have the default image over there on the side panel.
Yes.
I understand what the warehouse and drag and drop, but when is that default image used?
When so right now I don't have any of the other potential sources used. So this will be used. Okay. Here, let's look at the picture stack or the picture. I have a template for the pictures. Okay. We go to templates. Oh wait, no. Here. Picture, no, not picture overlay. Responsive image. So there's a template called responsive image. Let's look at that. Okay. So in this, here, let's extract it. Okay. So in here, I have 2 possible sources, and then I have the default image. Okay. So for here, I have basically let's see, hold on 1 second. How come the media query isn't set? That's weird. Okay. So here I had media query set to large, okay, which means minimum pixels 1024. Okay. So if it hit if we're on a desktop, it's going to go through these rules top down. So let's say I'm on a desktop. It's going to go to this rule and say, oh, minimum width 1024. Oh, my browser window is 1200 pixels. I need this. So then it goes in here and then it says, am I Retina or am I not Retina? And then it will choose one of these 2. Okay. Okay. Now, if you don't want to supply both, define the image one and not the Retina one. Okay. So, yeah. So you can either supply both, but you have to supply an image. Okay.
But if you did for that first one there, for instance, if you did a warehouse image, are you saying that there's a media query there so that you could use that warehouse image for large and then the next one for medium, et cetera?
Exactly. So this first one has a media query set to large.
Yep.
Okay. And then the second one has a media query set to medium. So if I'm on let's say I'm on a tablet, the tablet goes through these rules and it says minimum width 1024 pixels. The tablet says, oh, I'm not 1024 pixels. I'm going to go down to the next rule. And then the next rule says minimum width 640 pixel. The tablet says, hey, I have at least 640 pixels. I'm going to then process these images.
Or the warehouse image, whichever it tells you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then this one, if I'm on a mobile device, okay, none of these rules apply. So I go down to the default image.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. So now Warehouse has a couple other options that drag and drop doesn't. Okay. If you notice in drag and drop, I don't allow you to supply a type. So in Warehouse, I allow you to define a type. Okay. So you can explicitly define JPEG, PNG, GIF, SVG, WebP, and MP4 actually. Okay. So at this point, the reason I don't do that here is because this only supports JPEG and PNG, and it will automatically do that for us. Okay. So yeah, so the drag and drop only supports JPEG and PNGs. So if you want to use any of the other different types of image formats, you'll have to warehouse them right now.
Now, Joe, you were mentioning earlier the Webp
yes.
for imaging.
Mm-hmm.
I'm completely lost on that. Was that a stack or is it a reference?
No, Webp is a new image format. Okay, so it's a new file extension. So it's like JPEG, but it has an extension called Webp. So that's where I went to that Squish app. Squish.app is the URL. Yeah. And it supports Webp, as well as I showed you some Mac apps that also support exporting an image to Webp.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Now, and again, I said the drawback of Webp right now is you have to warehouse them if you want to use them. Okay, because they're I even tested it.
PNG.
Yeah, because this only supports JPEG and PNGs. Okay, but you'll see, especially if you need transparent backgrounds. So for PNGs, Webp is like the huge winner. Okay, for JPEGs, it's a little winner, but not as much as the transparent stuff. So, yeah. To be honest, for me, if I had like an image like this particular one here that I'm showing right now, I'd probably just stick with JPEG.
Yeah.
Because the benefit of going to Webp is a little bit, but not enough for me to have to redo every image and supply. I still, because it's so new, I'd have to supply a JPEG back, a fallback anyway. So is it really worth all that effort?
Right.
So you have to think about the extra time it's going to have to create all those images, and then add all the various rules in the picture stack for all of them. Right? It could be overwhelming. Right? So definitely think of the cost benefit on that.
Yeah, the last one I was using was your Image Optim. That's like the
yes, Image Optim is great.
Yeah, works good.
Let me see. I don't think it supports Webp. Let's see. Again, apps like Image Optim, they don't necessarily re-export an image, right? They just take an image, you just drag an image into it, right? So here's a Webp. Let's drag it in. Does it support it? No, it doesn't support Webp.
Yeah.
But what it does is you just drag in an image, and then it compresses that image for you. It doesn't create a new image, right? It just compresses that image and makes it smaller. So yeah, tools like Image Optim are still valuable for your JPEGs and your PNGs and SVGs also as well. But yeah, for Webp, you're gonna have to find an app that exports it to that.
Right.
Actually, I'm curious if it's supported in Mac OS now. If I go ahead and let's open this in Preview, I wonder if Preview has an export now. I haven't really researched any of this, so I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. Format. Nope, you cannot. So yeah, Preview, it'll read a Webp image. So like I can open this inside Preview, but I can't export to a Webp. So Mac pretty much, Apple stuff only it's basically read only.
So is Webp kind of driven by the browser format, or is it driven by the device?
It's 100%. Yeah, it was made for the web. Yeah. I think Webp stands for web picture. And the format standard was created by Google for the web. So yeah, it's not necessarily a format you share with your friends. It's definitely a format for web designers.
That's good stuff.
What's the technology behind it? I really have no idea. It might be interesting to, there's probably YouTube videos on it. It could be interesting to Google that and learn a little bit, but I really don't know.
I just checked and Affinity doesn't support it either.
Oh, Affinity. Oh, okay. Yeah, good check on that.
If you're looking for something else to cover.
Yeah, let's go. I'm open, man.
I've really been struggling with your menu stuff.
Okay.
And I know you've got a lot of videos out there. I've watched all of them. In particular, the accordion, those settings of whether it's accordion, drop down, etc. I'm confused about where to use them.
Okay.
In a multi-layered menu where you got, actual topics and subtopics.
Sure.
Would
Now
you
there
mind
are
going through that?
Sure. So first off, you need to look at the menu, and like some menus are better for mobile and some might be better for, desktop sort of environments, so yeah, let's go through them. Now, when you're creating the stack, or when you're creating the menu, one of the important things is, just like I did last week, Foundation is mobile first. So let's say, first off, let's go to the different menu formats. And I don't have my menu demo complete, so I'm going to go to the Foundation open source framework docs, and we're going to go to navigation. Okay, so here's all the types of menus. So this is a default menu, which is just like this. It's this list, okay, right here. And then we have a drop-down menu, which is obviously, drop-downs. Okay. I think, so let's say this menu, I think a generic menu like this works on anything almost, right? I mean, it's just a list of links. Okay. You can also make them vertically, vertical menus and all that jazz. Okay. Drop-downs, I think drop-downs work best on desktop. They probably don't work too great on mobile, right? So you probably wouldn't use a drop-down menu on mobile. And actually another known annoyance with drop-downs on mobile devices is to access a submenu, a lot of times you have to tap twice because there's this hover state for menus, and touch devices don't have hover, right? So they simulate hover by a tap. So that means to get the hover state, you tap, and then to trigger the going in, you have to tap again, right? So drop downs definitely aren't something I would recommend for mobile. Okay. Drill down. Now, a drill down menu, this was specifically designed for mobile, right? So this is your drop down, version, but for mobile, because you tap on it and then it replaces the entirety of the menu, and you can go back. So you have a hierarchy of menus, right? So the drill down is definitely, and I don't necessarily think that you could use this on desktop. Maybe if you had like a fixed sidebar on the side, this could be interesting. But I think that the use case for this type of menu on desktop doesn't make much sense unless there are some, side cases. I'm not saying never, but chances are this is mostly going to be for mobile. Okay. And then obviously we have Accordion, which you mentioned. And Accordion has the tap where, and this should work okay on mobile as well. There are no hover states. So tapping on them should go ahead and, expand out okay on mobile. But if you go too many levels deep, it might not be great. I don't know. It depends. And then those are the basic menu types. Okay. Other things, we do have breadcrumbs as well, which is obviously just a breadcrumb trail. Okay. Not necessarily a menu. And then obviously we have top bar, but top bar isn't itself a menu. It's more of a menu container. Okay. So we've reviewed our 4 types of menus. We have the default, just a boring list of links, which actually, to be honest, I think most websites use just to keep things super simple, right? And another thing I have to say about menus is you don't have to have every single web page in your entire website in your navigation. It's okay. Okay. Make things discoverable on a web page, right? Like, for example, Weaver Space, right? Imagine if like this particular, like, here's my stacks page, right? Obviously, you probably all have been here, right? Imagine if this was a drop down and under stacks just had a list of like 200 things, right? That's not usable, right? It's not at all, right? So not, break your websites down into the sections, right? What is my business about? Here's are the 4 main parts of my website, right? So break them down and make people go to those sections, and then maybe there, if you want, you can have a second menu that is just for that section or something like that, right? So yeah, I mean, you don't need to have every single web page in your menus, and I don't necessarily recommend, even if you go for a drop-down menu. My personal preference is I would hardly ever go more than, I think 3 is okay, but like going 3-4 levels deep, it's a maze, right? And it's hard for people to use. Okay. Any questions on that? I'll dive into RapidWeaver. So first, we know the 4 types of menus that we have: a regular menu, drop down, drill down, and accordion. We need to decide if we want to transform the menu. We need to decide what it's going to be on mobile. Okay. So, for example, let's go ahead and build out a menu really quick. Oops. So let's say on mobile, I decided I want a drill down menu. Okay. So, and if I want that on mobile, that's the stack that I need to add to the page. Okay. So on mobile, I want a drill down menu. So I'm going to add a drill down menu here. Let me go ahead and just add in a couple menus here. Let's add a sub menu, add a menu item right there. Okay. Hint for those, if you're creating vertical menus, so drill down is like by default, it's a vertical type menu. So it takes up a lot of space inside edit mode, right? Especially if you start adding submenus. So one quick little tip for this: if all the menu stacks have a hide submenus button, you can click on that, and that will hide all the submenus. So it just takes up a lot less space. Okay, so let's go ahead and preview this really quick. And I'm not trying to go for any beauty contests here, but just to show you, there, it works, right? Again, having this type of menu on desktop doesn't work too great, right? But it works. Click on that. Okay. So now what we need to do is let's decide maybe we wanted this to be a drop-down menu on desktop. Okay. So inside drill down, we would go to the responsive section, and we would do transform. Let's say on large, we want it to be a drop-down menu. Okay. So since I'm saying transform large drop-down, this drill down, when we get to large size, which is 1024 pixels, 1024, it will become a drop-down. Let's preview that. Okay. So here, it should become a drop-down. What the heck? Oh, do I need to do large horizontal? Okay. So one little caveat here is I had set, so orientation here was set to drill down is a vertical menu. Okay. But I wanted my drop down to be a horizontal menu. Okay. So even though on large, we're not seeing it, it is a drop down menu because you see it's actually creating the drop downs. Okay. But it's a vertical drop down menu, which you can have a vertical drop down menu. But in this case, we want it to be horizontal. So we want to change the orientation to also be large horizontal. So on large, it's going to go from a vertical menu to a horizontal menu. Let me add some more content to the page so that doesn't happen. Okay. So now we have on desktop, we have a horizontal menu that is a drop down. And then if we get down to medium at some point, it goes to drill down. Now, maybe we decide, you know what? I want my drop down menu to be on medium. So I do medium horizontal and medium drop down. Now on medium, I still have, my menu here. And then if we get down to mobile size, it goes to drill down. Did that help, Mike?
Yes, sir, for sure. And that is a drill down stack. What if I put the drill down stack into a top bar? Would that any problem with that?
Nope, not at all. Actually, there's
Okay.
a template for that. If we go to the top bar template, that's RW top bar. Top bar. So if we add this top bar to the template here, and we'll extract that. Okay, so in here, I have a drill down, and that's exactly what here. I'm going to hide the submenus. So here I have a drill down where it does exactly what I want. On medium, it goes to horizontal. On medium, it goes to drop down. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to get rid of the other one that we just created. And we're going to preview that. So on here it is on mobile, because top bar does this little doohickey on mobile, right? And then there it is on desktop.
I've looked at that 10 times, and what you just did was explain it to me, and that's all I needed. Thanks.
Perfect. Perfect.
Thank you. All those videos you did, see, you could have done it in 5 minutes.
Any other questions on menus? Anyone else have any issues with menus or questions?
Okay, I'll give you a basic one here.
Sure.
I upgraded to Foundation 6. It was an upgrade. I just did it on the website. And I've been having some trouble opening it because I upgraded or updated to Big Sur. And there was some glitchy stuff. So it kept opening and shutting down and then bug reporting. My question is, all your templates, are they built into the upgrade on Foundation?
My templates, they update just like any other stack does. So if you downloaded my templates, they will update when I ship an update to them.
Oh, I got you. Okay, right.
So yeah, they are a separate stack from Foundation. So I update those templates less frequently than I do the Foundation stacks themselves. But I do ship. So when I ship all these add-on stacks, I'll have a new set of templates that use them. And so I'll ship an update to that template pack. But so it will show as a separate update from Foundation stacks. But yes, I do ship updates to them.
Sweet. Right on, man.
Cool.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Yeah.
Quick one. I've been playing around with Parallax for the first time today. And what I'm trying to work out is actually how to configure it so that you get a consistency of each of the sections as you scroll up. Because it seems to be a bit of leakage on it. Can I show you
there is a setting in Parallax called bleed.
Yeah.
And that bleed setting will adjust that overlap so that, hold on, I'm unfocused. There we go. So yeah, so that bleed setting will adjust how much bleed there is from the Parallax container to the item below it.
Right. Okay. So that's because how does that work? Because what I've got it set to 0 at the moment. And what?
Oh yeah, 0. Then you're going to see all kinds of bottom. Yeah, you need to up that value.
Yeah. What happens?
That will cut off part of the image, but that's just what you need to do.
So I've got an image followed by a block of content, followed by a parallax image, followed by a block of content. And what's happening is that the gap is actually increasing each time I actually go down in between the bottom of the parallax and the start of the actual next one. And I don't understand
interesting. That bleed shouldn't be 0 though. So give that a shot. Add that. I forget what the default value for that is. I think it's here. Well, it's easy to just add a new one to the page. We'll see what it is. I think it's probably 30 pixels or something around there, I would assume.
Yeah.
Something. The default bleed value is 20 pixels. So I would start at least with the default and see how that looks. Yeah, you definitely don't want to bleed set to 0 unless you want to have some sort of overlapping issue or
So
non-overlapping issue.
How does parallax work if you have several of them on the same page in terms of you
don't want to have too many because and it will tax, especially scrolling down the page. You'll get some scrolling jank if you have too many parallax effects on the page. Yeah. So definitely less is more when it comes to parallax because the browser has to calculate that animation effect, and it does we want scrolling to be smooth, but if the browser's trying to catch up with creating all those animations, and on top of that optimizing, if you have a 2 megabyte image and you're asking the browser to float that 2 megabyte image, it's going to be a lot different than a 50 kilobyte image, right? Yeah. So optimizing those images is very important as well, especially for parallax.
Thank you, appreciate that.
No problem.
Joe, can I get back to menus quickly? Will it make sense to have a separate menu for mobile? And make it visible, yeah, sure. Make it visible only for mobile then?
You could definitely do that. If you don't want to do the transformation, maybe you want a specialized menu on mobile that maybe has less options. Yeah, you could totally do that. Just use a visibility stack or the visibility settings. I think there's visibility settings baked into every menu stack. You could just say, hide on, desktop. And then you could definitely do that. Obviously, because of that, you'd have to manage 2 different menu systems. But I mean, it's probably not that bad.
No, not too bad. I've done mine like that, so it works quite well.
Cool.
There's a little caveat that I've seen, but I'll see. I'll sort that one out eventually. Can I just ask a second question? What provisions can be made for older browsers? Let's say where a form is not properly.
So like a form isn't working on Firefox, but it is in Safari?
No, rather older, let's say Internet Explorer, older version.
Okay, well, Foundation 6 right now, it doesn't, I no longer support Internet Explorer. So tell those people to stop using Internet Explorer and save the world.
Okay, excellent. Now what I've
done,
every
time you launch Internet Explorer, a baby chipmunk dies somewhere in the world. Save the chipmunks.
Now what I've done, I've put on each form now to say, please do not open with Internet Explorer.
Yes, yes. There are stacks out there that can warn, and actually Foundation 6 comes with a IE visibility thing if you really want to display some content. Although the one that ships in Foundation 6 is pretty rudimentary. There's some other that have like nice pop-ups and stuff like that that you might want to look into that have some browser warnings. But yeah, that's what I would do. There are a lot of Foundation 6 will work in Internet Explorer. There are some things, some color values might not actually translate well because
that's for sure.
Yeah, so some color values that you've customized inside site styles will show the default values, not the values that you defined. The reason for that, and the reason why Foundation 6 is so fast, is it uses something called CSS custom properties, or they're also called CSS variables. And that allows us to centrally define things and not have to duplicate tons of CSS code. And if you notice, that's one of the reasons why Foundation 6 is so fast and it's really cool. But sadly, Internet Explorer doesn't support CSS variables. And so that's why a lot of those color values aren't looking properly in Internet Explorer, is because of that.
Excellent, thank you.
But all the column layouts and all that stuff should still work in IE. Actually, I think a couple releases ago, I actually improved Internet Explorer support, even though I really didn't want to. I did. But yeah. So I think my support that I've done for IE, I think it's as good as it's going to get right now.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
No problem.
Joe, hi. It's
Hey, Matthias. How are you?
Fine, nearly. I have 2 issues. May I ask you about them?
You have just 2?
Although they don't.
You have a lot more than that, man.
We'll see. Joe, I posted about these issues in the forums already, but I think I only get you here today, so I take my chance.
Sure.
Okay. Maybe it's very quickly done. The first one, the most easy one, I think, offsite. Your offsite stack. Okay.
Yes.
You have an offsite stack, and there is one setting no one could explain to me yet. The name field. I don't know if you have to get the stack.
You want to link a button and change the URL in an offsite, correct?
Hey, you know what I mean. Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yep.
Tell me how.
I thought someone gave you a project file. That's why I didn't answer that one. I didn't
yes,
look at it, but I assumed.
But that didn't solve anything. Sorry.
Okay.
And that didn't work at all. Yeah.
Okay. Well, here we'll do it.
Okay. I need to display a URL inside the offsite stack and some others per click. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Here, let's do it. Okay, so let's get offsite. We'll chuck offsite over here. And over here, we'll just add a button. A link. Okay. So inside here, let's see. By default, we'll go to example.org. Name is offsite. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so here we'll do, what do we want to link to? I think my sandbox site allows us to iframe it. I'll see you in a second.
You can make that, screen bigger.
Can I make that screen bigger?
Yeah, that one.
Which is that okay? I'm sorry. I really can't zoom in. I didn't change my thing. You can change your zoom preferences or go full screen in Zoom or something like that. Okay, so we want to do target. We want to do iframe name, and the default, funny enough, is offsite.
Okay.
And you put the iframe name there, and you put the offsite there. Okay, so now.
Yes. Okay, that's great. Okay.
And there we go. Well, I mean, I don't have anything on my sandbox page, but yeah, that did it.
Okay, this is done with buttons. Thanks for that. That's a great help already.
Yes.
How would this work with a normal text stack and a text link?
Okay, so that would be tricky to do with without HTML because
okay,
here, let's do,
use HTML. It's okay.
Yep. Yeah. So at that point, you would have to do if you look, you put a target attribute and target equals and then the name. You see that there?
Yes.
So it's just the name that's inside the offsite stack. I mean, the default is offsite, right? But whatever you change this name to, that's what you put inside the target.
Okay, that's great. That's the answer.
So it's just a normal link syntax, but the target equals and then the name of your offsite.
Perfect. Thanks, Joe. That's
okay.
Great. Okay. Great use case for the offsite stack. I have a flipping book inside the offsite stack, and you can turn page by page and so on. I think you know what I mean. And I have an archive of older versions of this book, and they should also be in the same iframe be displayed.
Yep.
And you
a lot of people actually, Davide on foundationbox.studio hit a lot of his project files. If you got the total CMS versions, he uses this in a couple of his project files where on the admin side, all the links. So basically the main admin area is just an iframe, and then the links on the side link to the different admin pages. But what's interesting is the URL to the admin area never changes.
Great. I have all
Right?
of them. I have to look at them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, the Davide does this exact same thing, and I don't know if he does in all of them or just one of them, but he does that in his admin pages.
Great. Thanks, Joe. Another thing, even more important for me of my client side is the following. I think I don't know if it's a bug with Hipwig inside Total CMS.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so now I don't have my post here. Oh, I try to improvise. Okay, I have Hipwig editor. I type in text. I click on insert image. I insert an image in the midst of the text, scale it, give it a caption. Everything works great. Text underneath, yes, type, ready.
Yep.
So all this is fine as long as I use the Total CMS blog content stack, the dedicated content stack. Yeah. In Total CMS blog, there's a content stack, there's a summary stack, and so on. You know that. And as long as I use the content stack, it works fabulous. So, but now there's the macro I can use. I can use what's the English word for that? You know that macro for the content.
Yes,
Okay.
blog content or whatever. Yes.
Yes, that's it. And when I use that, all this formatting of the image, which was in the middle, scaled down a bit with the caption below, is
gone.
Not gone, but the picture is full width.
Yes.
The caption is not centered; it's left, and everything is blown up as soon as I use the code.
Okay, I know how to fix it. One second. I know exactly the problem.
Great.
It requires. Yep, it's a pretty simple fix, especially if you're using Foundation 6.
I didn't
just give me 1 second to look it up really quick.
I'm in completely desperation with this.
It's a simple fix, actually.
Okay, that's very good.
Okay.
In the forums, I posted
what you're going to want to do is here. Let me share my screen.
Yeah.
So I assume your content is inside some kind of column or some type of container. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It also does happen even if I put this macro code inside an HTML stack with nothing else.
Yep.
Yeah?
It would. And the fix is here. So essentially, the fix is you just need to add one class to the container. Okay, and it's fr-view. Here, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. Thanks, Joe.
To everyone. There we go. So fr-view. If you put that in the it could be anywhere. It could be you could put it in any container or any column that's inside of it, and that will fix it.
Great. Okay.
And the reason is here's the code for the actual content stack. Okay. So like when you use the blog post content, it creates this div. Think of a container, right? And it puts this class in there for us. But when you use the macro, it doesn't get any of that. Okay. It gives you the raw content. So we need to explicitly put that class somewhere. It could be anywhere as long as it's a parent of the content area. Okay. Good question.
Thanks, Joe. I will try that, and I think it will work. Thanks.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm happy now. Thanks a lot. These were my two worst problems.
Did you understand my thing about the author where you wanted to link the author stuff?
I didn't have time yet to try that. I still think, why do I need this author-only blog list you told me to create. And where do I put it? Will I hide it since it
Okay, well,
shouldn't be shown anywhere?
What you said is you want to have a list of authors.
No.
Oh, you don't want a list of authors.
No.
Okay.
Good that you mention it now, so we can talk about this. I hope it's not boring the others, but okay. I have a normal blog. Okay,
yes.
I have a normal blog, and there is an author field where the author name is put in. Okay, that's clear. Okay, then I have on another page another blog, and in this blog, the authors are introducing themselves. So there's a list of authors with their photo and a short summary, and it's clickable. And then it's the detail page with longer information about this author. Okay, so I have here the authors in another blog on the same website. Okay, and I have on another page the blog where these authors are posting. But that's another thing. Okay, and I don't want, I need that when I click on the author's name in this normal blog.
Got it.
It's the details page of this author of the other blog is displayed in the other blog.
Got it.
It is linked to the other blog detail page of this author. Okay.
I understand. Here, let me show you how. Let's get it done. Okay. This project, I have a phony blog list somewhere. I think it's on this page.
I need total CMS2.
Okay. You don't need total CMS2 for this.
No,
yes.
Not for this, for many others.
Okay, I'm gonna add an author field here. Let's add the author field on this demo data. Let's see. Shoot, I don't. Okay, hold on one second. Let me just add some authors to this data set.
Yep.
All right, so let's click on here. Oh shoot, I need to add author to the form. 1 second. Where's the form? Here's the form. There. I need to add author.
Sí, gracias.
Okay, let me publish this page.
Es que mira cómo se queda la madera, macho. ¿Dónde están los putos posavasos?
¿Te los has comido todos?
¿Me voy a comer?
¿Te has muerto de hambre?
Está borracho.
¿Yo?
¿A qué hora es? No sé ni qué hora es.
No, en 10.
Who is that? There we go. Found it. All right, that published, I think. Let's refresh here. Author. Okay, so let me set the author here. Joe Workman. Okay, so I refresh this page now. There. Okay, so essentially you want, when they click this, Joe Workman, it's going to take, by default, this will filter the blog list by everything by Joe Workman, but that's not what you want.
I don't need that function.
Yeah, you want a link to a blog that references the about page for Joe Workman, basically.
Exactly.
Correct? Okay, cool. Let's get it done. Okay, so in order to do that, we're not going to be able to use the author stack because the author stack is limited. The only link it allows you to add is to filter by the author. Okay, and that's not what you want.
Oh,
okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and add in, I don't know, let's use a header stack maybe. Okay, let's use header. Actually, no, actually we'll use text stack. Why not? We'll just use a text stack. Okay. So in here, we're going to use, let's just make sure this is working. Author. Okay, we'll do that. Cool. We have by Joe Workman. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So if you notice, I'm using the blog list macros, which are different.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you've never seen the blog list macros, they're here.
I know them. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
These are not the mustache macros, but
These are mustache macros. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So now we have by Joe Workman. We need to enhance this. We need to make this a link, right? So we'll just use a Markdown link. And we'll do actually, so normally, so you put the URL in the link. Let's just make sure that works. We'll preview that. Okay, so now Joe Workman is a link, and it links to a URL that I gave it. But we need to make that URL dynamic, right? So that it's different.
Right.
So instead of hard coding Joe Workman here, I need to make this dynamic. So we're going to do, and actually, this particular macro is actually not in the macro links hint stack. If you do author link, I believe that's what it is. Yes. Okay. So there is a hidden macro. Okay. So there's author, which gives you the author name, and then there's author link. Okay. And what that does is, I don't know if you can see the tooltip in this, but it goes to Joe-Workman. So it's the URL version of the name. Okay. Where spaces are dashes. So it's basically the permalink for this author. So essentially right now you would customize this part of the URL to be whatever URL you want.
Yeah.
Right.
The details page, for example.
And if you want here, I'll put this in the chat as well. This code that I just used to generate this right now.
Great, thanks.
Put that in the chat. There you go. And here, and if that looked scary for everyone here, let's just look at it really quick. Okay. All right. So this is just Markdown. Okay. Let me remove the let's just copy paste this really quick. All right. Let's remove some of the scary bits and put in my name just so we can see this. Oh man. Man, fat fingers today. Okay, so here we have this is a Markdown link. Okay, hopefully, if most of you are familiar with this syntax now, is inside the square brackets you put the name. So obviously, instead of Joe Workman, I'm using this macro that works inside blog lists. Okay.
Yep.
So it gets the author field. Okay. And then we have this URL, which is going to be the same for every author, right? In your case. And then this is the bit that we need to get dynamically. And this bit is done by this macro called author link.
Okay. We have some more of these hidden macros.
Essentially, there are hidden ones for basically all the categories, tags, all those filterable elements. And it's all going to be the same.
Somewhere.
Tag link, category link, and that is going to be the URL versions of all the tags, categories, labels, all that stuff.
Thanks.
Actually, if you look at the macro links,
I
actually have an example. Let's see, where is? Oh, here. Actually, so let's see. Actually, link categories are a little bit different. So categories, you would do. Actually, have an example for those. You would do. You have access to the link and label. So the syntax for tags and categories is a little bit different than author. So it's actually. I have examples of them right here inside of because tags have multiple. So it's a little bit different. I should probably add. I'll file a bug and add author link and stuff like that, so that you guys can have these and not forget about them.
That would be great. Thanks.
Let me file that. That was just slight oversight on my part.
No problem. Thanks.
Add author link to blog list macro hints. Done. All right. I'll be done next week probably. Cool.
Great. Well, thank you.
Hopefully that helped out.
Yeah, a lot. No questions anymore from
Perfect.
my side.
Sweet.
So the others can chime in here. Okay.
Anything else, guys? I know I've gone over a little bit longer, but I'm happy to stay if anyone else has any other questions.
Sure do. I've got one.
Sure.
I'm like a beginner developer. I just run my construction company and I do my own website. I don't do anything for anyone. So I watch your videos and I build my own stuff. I have I use your Pi.
Funny enough, I watch a lot of construction videos right now. So
okay, that's like a how-to. So mine's how to not get killed when you're doing solar. I use your Pi on my website with like a I don't know what's called. Basically, when you open my website, it brings you up to this like let me wonder if I could maybe if I share my, let me just look. It's called. It's not letting me go over there. I don't know how to get away from Zoom. Anyway, it's like a pop-up.
Okay. You want to give me your website? I can share it out. And we can walk through it.
$1solar.com.
$1solar.com.
You get the pop-up, and it's kind of like
share so everyone can see it. Okay, right. Got it.
So the problem I have is, and I may have to tweak it, but when I'm on mobile and you start sliding the system sizer, the kilowatt hours you use.
Yeah.
On my phone, it goes to not applicable or something. It says NAN when you slide it. And you can see the numbers, and then when you release, it goes NAN. So it doesn't give a number on there. And I don't know if it's a setting on Pi that I'm not doing right or something. I don't know if I share my screen, maybe it would show you the.
One thing to test is just if you create like a test page and put just this slider on it without Pi or anything, just have a slider on the page. Does it work or not on mobile? Right. So that's something to look out.
Okay. When I publish it like on mobile on the Rapid Weaver,
yeah,
it works on my desktop on the small size for mobile, but it doesn't work on my iPhone.
Yep, I see that. That's just a differentiation between the iPhone browser and the Mac browser. There are different code bases. So yeah, it does say, and it goes to 0. Interesting.
And I'm assuming most of my, captured audience would be using their phone and then make, oh, that.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's definitely an issue.
Yeah.
If you want to post this on the community or shoot me an email, one of the two, we can start tracking this and play around with it.
Yeah, awesome. What email? I don't know your email.
support@weavers.space. But I will be brutally honest. If you post on the community, I will probably get back to you faster. Just being honest. I always prioritize posting the community and answering those before email.
Okay. Here's my best beginner question. What the Weaver space?
Yeah, community.weavers.space. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Joe.
Hey, Joe, I just want to say a big thanks to you for doing all that you do, the videos, these things. I mean, man, you have helped me so much. So
awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I just want to know how the barbecue's coming.
It's coming. I made the frame for the pour. I'm just being a cheapskate and trying to figure out what's the cheapest way to get all the cement I need and least amount of work for me. And those concrete guys, like if you get a truck, they're like, hey, we can bring it in a truck. You got 10 minutes to get it out. I'm like, fucking serious? 10 minutes? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, man, oh, hold on. I just went into swear mode. Sorry. I'm still live. I forgot.
Bring in a concrete pumper, man. They'll say they're friends with those guys in the trucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but then I mean, I only need a yard. I'm just pouring a small thing, right? So like,
the buggies?
to get the pumper, it was like an extra $350
All
just
they-
for the pumper on top of the concrete.
Call the yard and tell them you want any short loads that they have, because what they'll have is extra that they can't dump somewhere.
Ah, okay.
And they'll hook you up. They'll bring it over. You tell the yards, say, hey, yeah, I need a yard if you have a short load.
Okay.
Like excess left over.
Yeah.
Did you check to see if they had the buggies where you are? Yeah.
No, I didn't. I couldn't find any. Yep. Oh well. But I'm building a little outdoor kitchen area. It's gonna be. I have like 1,000 bricks from another project that I tore up a brick patio. So I'm gonna use all those bricks to build a little outdoor kitchen. And then I can do a hardwood, a walnut countertop. Yeah. I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
That's cool. It's cool.
And then we just got an estimate to refinish our cabinets. And whoa, man, being a cabinet refinisher, whew, that's a lot of money. It was like $5,600 to paint my cabinets.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
I used to do cabinets. Do refacing. Don't refinish them.
Yeah.
You get new drawers. You get new door fronts, and the boxes stay there. You get better hardware.
Oh, interesting.
It's the best way to go.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So
I wish developing web pages was that easy for me. But it's fun. That's why I've been doing it. So I love it.
Cool.
Yeah, put it that way. I'm your poster child of I don't know, I guess my I meant to ask you, how do you leave a testimonial? I looked on your webpage and didn't have a link for it.
Just email me or just email it into support@weavers.space. And yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Cool. Beginner testimonial. Yep.
I'll take anything. I appreciate that.
See you guys.
Some old farts like Scott and Jeff too. That works great.
hey. That's the ageist.
Yeah, I got to get my zings in sometimes, Jeff, you know.
Where's your jumper then?
Oh, it's downstairs, darn it. Cool. Well, any other questions, guys?
Yeah, the only thing, Joe, you know, you sent me that HR fade, was it? Yes, HR CSS thing about lines. The only problem with that, it expands the whole line to whatever width, whatever the height is.
That was for
So I had the lines, you know, which I had used a fade out line. And I wanted to be able to target all the lines on my pages, and there are hundreds of them.
You had emailed that in, right? Did you reply to that?
That was on the. No, that was on the.
That was on the community.
Community,
okay.
yeah.
Here, let me get that URL, and we'll look at. Did you publish it with the swatch?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Here, I'll look at it again. Trying to find that. Can you put the URL, just the URL really quick in the chat?
Right, hang on just a second.
Oh, flowers for me, Jason. You didn't have to. Thank you so much. Oh, there it is. Let me share. Oops. Didn't work.
Oh, sorry. There should be a history between the UK and Petersfield. That's it. With a capital H.
Oh, capital H. Ah, see, got it.
Yeah, go into Petersfield history. Yeah. Scroll down, and a bit more. Now you see the fade out lines.
Yeah.
I want to be able to target all those. A lot of them I put in there are only one is it 1 pixel high?
Yeah.
And I'd like to be able to put a swatch in which targeted those to make them 5 swatches or 4 swatches high.
So it's currently 4 pixels high. So this one's how you want it to look?
Yeah, that is how it wants to be looking. But further on, if you go to the next page, for instance, if you click on that green button, click on the green button at the bottom. On the green button on the right, if you click on that, you'll see it's. If you go down there should be 1.
There's 1 here. That looks correct though.
Yeah, go to the next page, and I might have changed some of these. There's an awful lot of text in there. There might not be any on that one.
That is a lot of text.
Yeah, there's a lot of history. Not my history, mind. Go on next page. Yeah, I can't remember which one it is on there. Oh, what's that one? You just went past.
Here's another one that looks okay.
Yeah, that one is. Oh, but on some of them, I've only got them as 1. But I was trying to target.
So like any of these horizontal ones, or this?
Yeah, any of those horizontal fade out ones, I'd like to be able to target.
Okay, so like this particular one doesn't have the faded class though, so.
No, that one doesn't. That's a line. That's
okay, got it.
Divided line, yeah. Whereas your lines one.
That one looks good too.
That one there.
That one looks good. I'm wondering maybe it was a browser cache issue on maybe on your side, because I don't. Every single one I've found looks to be 4 pixels.
It might be on that page. I'm just looking to see if I can find it. Come here, you. Right. Well, oh god.
Here, well, I can recreate that really quickly here.
Okay. Well, in fact, if you go to Petersfield 4 and then hash 1829.
Peelsphere. I'm at
Petersfield 4 and then hash 1829.
1829.
That's at the top. You've got to click a tab at the top.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, here.
Those are only 1s.
Got it. Okay. And you created a swatch.
Well, I was looking at trying to create a swatch. I did a height swatch.
So you did a height swatch.
Yeah.
And then you went to class.
Yeah. I put in
HR dot faded.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you set your height to be 4 pixels.
You see what happens now? It's interesting.
You see what happens now where?
Well, we'll see what happens when you preview it.
Okay. All right. Let's add a lines stack. I'll add this. You have a no, you have a faded line.
Fade out, yeah.
Where's fade out? Get where it is. Oh. I don't even remember. Where do you do that? Dotted, double groove, ridge, so solid. Oh, gradient.
Oh, well, what you're doing there is totally different to what I've got, but.
Oh shit! This is I redid the line stack a long time ago, and then I never released it. So I rewrote it, and I never released it. I I don't have. Oh man, I don't even have the shipped version even on my machine yet. Hold on one second. Let me install the shipped version. 1 second. Shit stash. Okay. Unless I really messed up. Hold on a second. Oh Jesus.
I must say, it looks blooming complicated to me.
Yeah. Shoot. I don't have the fade. I don't have. Okay. Well, it's gonna be the same. I think it'll be the same thing. But let's just let's preview this really quick. It's okay. So. That doesn't even work. Yeah, no wonder I didn't ship it. Doesn't even, the current version I have installed doesn't even work. Turn it. Okay, hold on a second.
It says on my screen in the inspector stacks _in_2465
Yeah,
whatever that means.
Well, I'm gonna go download the production version off my server. 1 second.
It's also got at the end of it $0, whatever that means, equals $0.
Yeah, that's just you can ignore that.
Okay, right, okay.
Lines version 1.2. There we go. Install it. Install. Continue installing. Relaunch. Save.
So Jeff, you're trying to maybe make it like a partial so your changes can be applied across the whole site?
No, what I was doing is trying to put a swatch into the style sheet.
He was trying to
for that
customize.
page,
Yeah.
so that I can just change the swatch once and it do it throughout all the pages.
Hey, there we go.
There you go,
So this in the lines, I have it set to 1 pixel, but then in my height swatch, I have it set to 4 pixels.
Right.
So, and you have to make sure you turn on this force, or else it's not going to work.
Yeah, but what happens when you preview that now?
Here's preview.
Well, how the hell it didn't work like that with me, because when I did that, it showed the whole of the box that it was in was filled with that line, so that the whole line across the whole width of it was 4 pixels or whatever high. In fact, it filled the whole box. It reduced the top and bottom margins. Does it make any difference if you increase the margin in the settings there?
So if I have
on 20 max, yeah.
Nope.
No.
Maybe it's not a gradient.
That's very strange.
So this one should have a swatch on the page, but there's 2 here that aren't working,
Well,
right?
I've tried putting a swatch on it, but it didn't do it. So I'll remove the swatch now. But
Oh. So one thing you can make sure that it's possible that you add hr.faded to the class instead of going to this custom CSS selector?
no, I went to the custom CSS and then put it in there.
Yeah, as you see here, it's working, but a lot of things tend to work when I'm here.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah.
You're like a lawyer on retainer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I will have another play with it then.
Okay, cool.
I'll come back to you on Friday.
Come back to me on Friday, brother.
Right. God. Most annoying.
Cool. Anything else? Danny, I saw you liked my bokeh, huh? My bokeh in the background, yeah? It's nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So what are you doing there to do that?
I finally stopped being lazy and I set up my SLR to go HDMI so that yeah. Yep.
Yep. It looks like f1.4 or so.
Yep, it's f1.4 or no, or 1. I forget which one. Or 1.8. I think it's a 1.4.
Yeah, it's got good autofocus to keep your eyes locked on. It must have face tracking.
Yes, it does. Sometimes, every now and then, it'll get out of whack if I move a certain way, but it comes back pretty quickly.
So what's the camera?
It's the M5 Canon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. With the Sigma 16 millimeter f1.4.
I wrote all it down.
Awesome. Well, guys,
right.
Anything else I can help you out with? Else we'll call it quits.
No,
Sweet.
Thanks very much, Joe.
My pleasure. Well, hopefully we'll see some of you on Friday, and if not, we'll see everyone else out on the community. Cool. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks, Joe.
Bye.